ready now?
Jim Gaffigan.
You so... You see you have balls on your chin. Take that home, put it in some broth, got yourself cooking a stew. Got a stew cooking. Hair stew. Good day, everyone. This is Matt and Jerva with the Busted Couch, and we are finally here to tell you about our thoughts on E3. We're going to have our top 10 games list, followed by a few other things, and then we're going to talk about the Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo stuff. Let's get started! So, we have top 10 lists. We're going to start with number 10. Jerva, what's your number 10?
Titanfall. I was really surprised. I'm not a fan of Call of Duty, so when it's like, oh, they've, split off and they've made Respawn and they're doing something, I did not care. But the gameplay, it looks so fun. It looks amazing. It looks like a purely multiplayer game where there's enough variation and change in it that it'll continuously be fun to play through their weird online multiplayer campaign thing that they seem to have. It looks really cool, and I'm really, really glad that it'll be on PC and not only the Xbox One.
Yay! My number 10 is Dark Souls 2. Now, I'm going to confess that I didn't finish the first Dark Souls yet. I've been meaning to, and I in fact own it for both PS3 and PC. And I've got to the exact same spot on both systems. It's just like, I'm just failing at playing that game. But, the next game, they've done some graphical improvements. It's on a new development team, so that had a lot of people, kind of scared. But from the way it looks, it doesn't seem like they're changing much. It just looks like more Dark Souls. So, pretty stoked about that, and I'm ready to die again. Number 9.
Infamous Second Son. It looks like Infamous 2, I felt, was a big step up from the first Infamous. This looks like an equally big step up from Infamous 2. It looks fantastic. The destructible terrain looks really cool. The powers are new and different. I love the reason that you get a new character is because they looked at the information on how many people did what at the end of Infamous 2, and it was like 80% of players chose to have Cole sacrifice himself. So alright, he's dead, it's canon. So we need a new guy in the next one. It's really cool, and I'm looking forward to it.
Number 9 for me is Destiny. Basically, Bungie stopped making Halo games, and now they're on to bigger and better things, it would seem. Because Destiny basically looks like a huge, persistent sci-fi world where any number of things are possible and instances are possible. It's like Halo-ish, Star Wars-ish, Borderlands, pretty much.
Definitely get a Star Wars kind of, not like really in the designs, but more in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It feels,
And there's space magic, so that's great.
There's spider tanks, like Ghost in the Shell.
That drop in, and it's like, oh, good. I'm so happy with the way that game plays and looks. Sure, it does kind of just look like a Bungie shooter if you just look at some of the motion and the play and stuff like that, but I think that overall it's going to be a lot better, more drawn-out experience than a lot of the other stuff that was shown, or that they've done.
I haven't seen a lot of it, but it feels like the RPG elements are going to be stronger, I'd say, than Borderlands, and the fact that your guns level up. So when you find, instead of just constantly looking for a better gun, it's like you find something and then you level up this gun to make it an epic named mythical weapon. It's like, look at this shotgun. There's only 8 shotguns in the world this powerful.
Yeah, it's like, I've had this since I started the game. That's the thing, you could do that. It's good. I like that. And you grow attachment to your possessions in a game. Moving on to number 8.
Octodad, Deadliest Catch. I dare anyone to watch any footage of this game and not think it will be amazing. You're an octopus, who somehow managed to pass himself off as a human and is getting married. And you wear a suit and you kind of flail around because you're trying to like stand up on your tentacles and you keep falling over and smashing stuff and getting freaked out and squirting ink because you're upset. And then if you keep doing that enough, people start to get suspicious that maybe you're an octopus. It looks amazing, and I can't believe that Sony put it on stage.
My number 8 is Titanfall. Jerva's already talked about it. It's just looking like a fantastic, fast-paced multiplayer game. I mean, kind of reminiscent of Call of Duty, but only sci-fi and awesome. Like, the fact is, like, you can be running up to an enemy mech with your mech. You can, like, get into close combat and, like, rip their pilot out and throw them. Or, like, if you're running up to them and you take too much damage, you eject out at the risk of getting shot in the air. But if you can land on the other mech, you can rip its lid open and start firing it onto the CPU or the brain of the actual mech itself. And there's just a lot of depth in the combat. It just looks like it could be so much fun. So,
do you think two guys in Titans could like grab people and try to throw them in so they hit each other midair?
That'd be great. Or if two guys ejected at the same time and landed on each other's mechs, and they're just...
I was gonna think ejected and then like started fighting midair, like melee. They're just like.
Yes, they like just pull out their melee attacks and they stab each other midair, dual death. That'd be great.
Most epic knife fight ever.
And then there's like the wall running and jetpacks, and I don't know, it just looks great. And the fact that like they're actually, as Jerva said, are mentioned that they're putting like a story mode into it as like for the online multiplayer too. That makes me happier because I am more of a single player kind of guy anyway. So if there's a single player feel or vibe to it, then I can just ignore the other people and just play the game, right? So number 7,
Thief. I don't really have a ton to say. If you've played a Thief game, this is another Thief game. Everything I've seen looks like they didn't really change anything up. This is like an old school Thief game, just really, really pretty. And if you haven't played a Thief game, they're probably pretty cheap on Steam. I assume go get them. They're fantastic. They're amazing games. Some of the best stealth games.
Number 7 for me is Infamous. I'm gonna start that over again. Number 7 for me is Infamous Second Son. As Jerva mentioned, lots of new stuff. A huge jump ahead of Infamous 2. I like how they've managed to allow a lot more interaction with the environments. Like, for example, you can turn into smoke and go up ventilation shafts, the destructible environments, and a brand new character due to the fact that they made Cole's death canon. Excellent looking game. I'm excited to get that when it comes out. Number 6.
The Division. It was beautiful. It had some of the most gorgeous graphics. Actually, I think the most gorgeous graphics of anything I saw at E3. And the fact that it's really new and fresh. It's a modern times, semi-post-apocalyptic, military RPG multiplayer game. There's nothing that's like that. It's just... it's out of nowhere, and it looks really cool. And I can't wait to find more about how all the nuances of the multiplayer work and how the companion app works, so you can have like people working drones and everything. How you level up and gain new skills and new weapons and everything, and it just looks really slick and really fun.
Okay, number 6 for me is Beyond Two Souls. I've been really interested in this game since it got announced. They have put so much dialogue and options and stuff like that in it, as well as it spans across Ellen Page's character, like I think like between like what's 5 or 6 years old to like all the way up to in her 30s or something like that. So it covers about 25 years of her life roughly, and I just can't wait to play that game. And it's some of the most impressive visuals on the PS3 that I think are possible. So I'm happy that that game is coming out this fall. It's my second most anticipated game this year, next to Last of Us. So, number 5,
Elder Scrolls Online. I keep hoping that this game won't be really good because I can see hundreds and hundreds of hours going away. But everything I keep seeing, it seems like it is literally an Elder Scrolls game that is also an MMO. And it's got the full, complete play it however you want, do whatever, go wherever type of story from an Elder Scrolls game. They're just playing with tons of other people, and then there seems to be crazy multiplayer sieges where you can destroy the walls and like just take the keep that way, and then have to defend from the third army coming in to claim it afterwards, and all sorts of cool stuff. And then you have to like try and rebuild the walls that you've destroyed and stuff like that. The PvP seems to be set for however you want to play. So if you want to play with like hundreds of people running around doing crazy stuff, that's cool. If you want to do a smaller mission with like just a squad of your friends, that's cool. If you want to just go off on your own and like try to like gather some information to help the war effort or something, you can do that. It looks really great, and it will probably take many, many, many hours out of my life.
My number 5 is The Division. So again, gorgeous game. Looks like it's going to have some insane multiplayer aspects to it, and as far as the tablet-controlled stuff is concerned, it's basically like one of those instances where I think it'd be best if, like, say you have a friend and they're on their way home from work, but you're starting early and you need some support. Well, you can call on them on their iPad or iDevice or whatever, and basically say, hey, can you spot this area for me? And then they can point out enemies and supplies and all that stuff with their drone.
That's another thing about this game. I forgot. The matchmaking. Apparently it's got matchmaking where you decide what type of people you want to play with and find online in your game to, run around with. So, like, if you're a teenager, you can specify you only want to play with other teenagers. If you're older, you can specify, I don't want any goddamn teenagers.
Yeah.
If you've got a kid, you can specify, like, people who are okay. If, baby's crying, I gotta go, and, like, they don't mind if you gotta leave for, like, 20 minutes to deal with that, because, they're in similar situations, or they just don't care, or whatever. Like, you can specify all this stuff, and then only play with the type of people who you want to play with. That's pretty cool.
I'm really looking forward to that one. Number 4.
The Crew. It's Fast and Furious. It looks insane. It's a huge open world map. Like, huge map of the United States, where you can spend hours just driving across it. There's tons of different missions. There's off-road, there's street races, there's like actual track races apparently. They didn't show any of that, but they mentioned that, so I'm assuming you could at one point like try to outfit your car to be a NASCAR or something? I don't know.
Basically everywhere you can see in that game you can go to.
Oh yeah. You do crimes, you try to be part of a crew, you want to knock off a semi-truck or, take out this armored van and steal all the money in it. You're doing stuff like that. There's PvP multiplayer where you and another crew do vehicular Fast and Furious stuff against each other. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we don't really get excited for racing games very much.
No,
but this game looks great.
Yeah, like most racing games, like the new Need for Speed. After seeing The Crew, it's like, no, why would anyone get this?
Yeah, The Crew just made Need for Speed its bitch, pretty much, so. Number 4, for me, is The Witcher. The Witcher 3, to be specific. And they're just like, let's just make this open world. Completely open world. And have, like, different regions and stuff, and it looks so gorgeous. It's actually probably the most gorgeous-looking game that I saw from all the E3 videos. Yeah,
it's CG Product Red. I mean,
yeah.
Honestly, I don't think a game has come out yet this year that looks better than Witcher 2.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to that game, and it's just another reminder that I really need to finish the first and second one. Number 3.
Witcher. It's an open world 35 times the size of all the map that you could go through in Witcher 2. This, like the Elder Scrolls, this is hundreds of hours. It's going to be, and they've said, like, literally, it will take you over 50 hours just to do the main quest. Plus, they have well over another 50 hours of side quests in there. It's literally over 100 hours. And unlike an Elder Scrolls game, this is a Witcher game, so it's going to be heavily plot-based, and there's going to be a lot of like moral decisions you have to make that will influence and change the course of your game. And then there's crazy stuff like the epic, not boss fights, but pretty much boss fights of just the various monster hunts and the crazy stuff you have to do to take down weird creatures and everything. You can get in a boat and go out to sea, and if a storm rolls in, your boat will crash and you'll freeze to death in the Arctic waters. Just it seems like it's going to do so many crazy and insane and awesome things that should be in fantasy games but aren't. But they are in this one because it's CG Projekt Red.
Yeah, The Witcher's world is a harsh one.
Yes.
It's like the combat in that game requires patience and skill.
Yep.
It's basically more intricate Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's The Witcher is if Dark Souls and Mass Effect had a baby.
Okay, so my number 3 is Watch Dogs. Ubisoft announced this last year, and then this year they decided to finally show a bunch more gameplay and how the game actually works out. And they have done some astonishing stuff with like the multiplayer aspect of the game, where basically you can be running around on someone else's map disguised, and they won't know who you are, and if like you can follow them around, or like if they notice you, then they can follow you back, or you can hack cameras and watch them do their shit without actually being there. And
that'd be great. You're in a game, and like the guy knows you and starts following you, and then someone else also comes in the game and starts following you.
Yeah.
Just like a trail of people.
Yeah. It looks incredibly amazing. I'm so stoked for this game, and the fact that you can be driving along, tailing someone, or being tailed. If you're being tailed, you can go around the corner real quick, park your car, and just turn it off, and then the AI won't know. Like they'll just drive right by you or whatever, and it's not like in Grand Theft Auto where they'll keep chasing you, they'll magically know who you are, but they'll follow you to a point, and then they'll think you're still in that area, so they'll search that area for a little while.
They won't stop just because they haven't seen you. They'll assume you're still in that area somewhere.
I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this game actually turns out, and it's high up there for my most anticipated games. Number 2,
Watch Dogs. It looks amazing. The hacking and the crazy cyberpunk super hacker abilities and everything is really cool. Chicago is a nice different area for an open world game to be taking place in. Like so much that's in the game, just like finding random events that you can do throughout it just by hacking people's data and finding out about them, and it looks so cool. Like everything, like every single thing in this game is something I want to do. Even the mobile app multiplayer stuff. Normally it's like, that's kind of cool, but like who would do that? Like in this, it's actually cool. Like you can ask someone for help. It's like, hey, help get these cops off of me, so they can try to do something to divert the cops by hacking on their phone. Or you can just go to your friend who's like, hey, try to stop me from doing this, and try to go whatever, rob a place or drive somewhere or whatever, and they will try to use their hacking skills in your game to hinder you and try to stop you from doing that. You can do whatever you want. It seems really cool. Actually, honestly, for open world games this year, I'm more excited for Watch Dogs than I am for GTA 5.
My number 2 is The Crew, which we've already discussed, but it's got so much to offer. You can customize your car from the ground up, like bare bones, like just from the chassis to the tires to like individual engine parts, build it for a certain purpose or change it for a mission or whatever. And the fact that you can get your group of friends together and do like heists and jobs and whatnot, and getting crazy car chases across pretty much a whole country, that's pretty impressive. So that game is definitely a huge surprise, and Ubisoft, you did it again. Like, just more games. Like I think all of their games are on our lists.
Not all of them.
Not all of them,
but most of them.
Pretty
a
close.
lot of them. Yeah. The Division, The Crew, Watch Dogs. Yeah. We don't have
Big
Assassin's Creed on here.
No, but who cares?
We've got a lot of them on here. We don't have the Rabbids. We don't Just Dance. We forgot Just Dance.
We forgot. It's number 1. That's a surprise.
In our hearts.
In our hearts.
So
number one, we both have the same game, so let's just talk about that. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Just big open world, stealth action espionage game with Snake. Well, not Snake. Naked Snake.
The open world is going to add so much to the possibilities for stealth and how you get into a compound. By the ability that you don't have to go in from the side that you're at, because that's where the map is, but you can go around, you can sneak around, you can try to get in a convoy, you can wait until nighttime through the day-night cycle. Maybe they have easier time then, or whatever you want, because it's a Metal Gear game. It's going to be amazing.
I don't know. The game even looks incredible. Like the graphics and stuff that they put into it.
Oh yeah,
the Fox engine. They finally can just unleash that thing on the PS4 and the the Xbox One, and it's just, I don't know. It's gonna be great, and I'm really excited for all the stuff that they could possibly add into that game. Where the opportunities for random dialogue, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that other than it's a Metal Gear Solid game that's open world. Enough said, really. So.
Really, it's a Metal Gear Solid game. So, yep, we're there.
We're not Metal Gear fans at all. Alright, that's it for our top 10 list. Let's move on to our biggest surprise of E3. Jerva?
The Crew.
The Crew.
It's a Fast and Furious game. I wasn't expecting anything like this. I certainly wasn't expecting to get a driving game from Ubisoft, let alone one that looked balls insane. Like the one guy in an interview described it as a Metroid-influenced car PG. It looks really, really cool, and quite literally came out of nowhere. Like, that seems to be Ubisoft's thing. Because, everyone's busy trying to find out more about Watch Dogs. They're like, oh, by the way, also these games.
Yeah, just toss them out there. Yeah, so The Crew and my runners-up were Metal Gear Solid 5 and another Ubisoft game, The Division. So those games were also big surprises because Ubisoft's just like, we kept 2 huge projects under wraps until now. Here you go. Boom.
My runners-up were The Bureau, XCOM Declassified, and Batman Arkham Origins. And both of them, it's because it's not Rocksteady making this Batman game, so I was kind of apprehensive about it. And, a third-person, real-time XCOM game, I didn't really think it would hold that XCOM feel, but having seen a bunch of both of them now, I'm impressed. They both look solid. They both look like they'll be great fun, so well done.
Yeah.
Whoever made those.
Moving on to the most impressive title of E3. Mine's Watch Dogs.
Yeah, Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Every time I see something new, it's something I want.
Pretty much.
Oh, you can do that too? Oh, I want to do that. Oh, you... when they first showed off the ability to just drive around a corner and turn off your engine to evade the cops and then get out of your car and try to sneak away, it's like, oh...
Yeah, all of these things could have been...
That is something that I wanted in this type of game forever.
You could put this into one of those commercials where there's a depressed gamer sitting there like, oh, I wish there was a game where I could hack into every camera in the city. Now there is! But when I'm being chased, can I just go around the corner, turn off my car, and they'll drive by? Yep. There's all this other crap, and then insane multiplayer shit. I'm just like, what? My runner-up would be The Crew, because they've done some insane stuff with that game. With how big the world is, all this possible stuff you can do, the amount of customization that even puts Forza to shame is just fucking ridiculous.
I have 2, both for visuals. One is Beyond Two Souls for being a current-gen title, somehow. I don't know what magic David Cage runs, When Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, I'm like, holy crap, that looks beautiful. You're pushing the PS3 to the limits, Kojima. But now, this is... I don't know how they can do that. The limited RAM alone that is in the PS3. How is he making these pretty things? I don't know. And my other one is The Division for just straight up being gorgeous. Everything about that game looks absolutely beautiful.
Alright, and even though multiplayer isn't our thing, the most anticipated games for multiplayer, my number 1 is Titanfall, just because of the amount of crazy shit that you can possibly do, and the fast pace and the depth. It's fantastic looking.
Yep, Titanfall.
And my runner-up is Destiny, because if you combine Star Wars-y kind of stuff and Halo-y kind of stuff with some Borderlands kind of stuff.
Yeah, Titanfall looks more exciting, but I think Destiny will be more long-lasting.
Yes.
Especially with their model of doing it for a decade.
And then we move on to our missing in action stuff. Things that I kind of wish that were there. are basically The Last Guardian, but it was mentioned that it's kind of been put on hold or hiatus or whatever, and
I would guess if that's happening, it's probably because at this point they're just like, okay, well, you haven't really done a lot here. Let's just move this over to PS4 maybe, because
yeah, probably.
You're taking too goddamn long.
And
you know what?
What?
I just realized their last game was Shadow of the Colossus. They didn't make a game for PS3.
Yeah, they missed the whole generation.
A console.
And then the whole time I was just waiting for Bethesda to say something and just tell us that Fallout 4 was coming, even if it was just a teaser.
Yeah, just I figure it's been long enough that obviously they're working on Elder Scrolls Online, and it'll be a while before it actually comes out. But yeah, just an announcement now. It's like this is coming at some point.
They announced Mad Max, and that was kind of... I was like, okay, well, you know what, that's fine. I'll settle for that.
Yeah, Mass Effect. I know it's not Casey Hudson and his team who will be doing something. I believe it's the team in Montreal who worked on the multiplayer for 3. I'm not positive if that's true, but it might be.
That team just makes up, basically a Mass Effect version of Destiny.
Apparently, I know, a lot of these games, when they have, the multiplayer stuff, when that was first announced, people were like, why are you shoehorning that in? And, a lot of people, one of their arguments is that they're, taking, dev time away from making this great RPG to stick in multiplayer. Apparently, the multiplayer saved them time. Because the actual main team didn't have to really do anything to work on combat, because the multiplayer team was getting that perfect. So great, we'll just take the combat stuff you did and stick it in the game. We'll just focus on the story and making the locations and everything.
So there you go.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted was a new game announced from United Front, because I love Sleeping Dogs, and I know they're still putting out DLC, but I thought maybe we'd get a tease of kind of what'll be next from them.
Sleeping Hogs, starring Tim Allen.
Pretty awesome. An open world crime story starring Tim Allen. Just running from the cops.
That about does it for our thoughts on E3. As far as the games are concerned, let's talk about the major system announcements and press conferences. We'll start with Nintendo, since that one's the shortest one. They didn't have one. They had a really bad Nintendo Direct video that I think that we both came to the conclusion that we just basically turn them off after a bit.
Oh yeah, Nintendo
or we skip through
boring.
them.
I wait and see what other people have to say about it afterwards.
Yeah.
It's just someone will post the trailers and stuff. I'll wait for Rev 3 or game trailers or something. I don't need to actually watch this crap.
So Nintendo overall,
they showed some cool games.
Yeah, they
don't come out soon enough, and they didn't show enough of them, and they don't give a crap about third party anymore. So it's not really good for their system. But hey, Mario Kart looks cool. Smash Brothers is always fun.
And when Reggie got confronted by, I think it was Jeff from Game Trailers, and he's just like, but you need third-party games, and Nintendo's just like...
whatever.
Whatever.
People buy Nintendo systems for Nintendo games. Other people want to make games for our system. That's cool, they can. If they don't, whatever. We got Mario, bitch. Fuck yourselves.
Yeah. I don't know. Come on, Nintendo. Smarten
up.
up.
The thing is, they have enough money that they can get by doing this, but...
They can go for 20 years on what they have right now.
Yeah, why? How about they try to make more money and make a good system? Or put their stuff on mobile, or do something.
My advice would basically just be make another system, make it a lot better, and then release that in the next year. Because that's the only way you're gonna get ahead, because the Wii U is more of a gamer's console than the Wii was. Yeah. The Wii was for old people and retirement homes and children and all sorts of crazy people, and it wasn't really a core gamer system, whereas the Wii U has the capacity to be a much better system, but you just seem to be dropping the ball everywhere, and the fact is that that system was released way too late in the last generation. You should have released it, 2 or 3 years ago, rather than back in March of last year.
You mean November?
Or November. Yeah, in November. I'm thinking of the PS Vita for some reason. which is worse. Anyway, yeah, Nintendo, you need to, smarten up and release some of those fucking games in the fall. I mean, okay.
Donkey Kong.
You got Donkey Kong, and you got
then stuff that we already knew was coming.
Wonderful 101 and Pikmin 3 in August. So you get those 3 games for the fall lineup that people will buy.
The entire Wii U in its first year of life has less games I'm interested in playing than Ubisoft has released in the last year. Ubisoft, in the last year, you got Far Cry, you got Far Cry Blood Dragon, you got Zombie U, you got Watch Dogs coming up.
Ubisoft announced more games during the E3 showing than Nintendo did.
Yeah.
Just Ubisoft. Like, okay, when is Ubisoft going to release a console?
Yeah. Also, Ubisoft is one of the only third-party developers that's actually supporting the Wii U.
Yeah.
Like, no one else seems to care about putting stuff out other than, like, I guess you can get Arkham City a year late. There you go. It's got some touchscreen bullshit.
That's enough about Nintendo. I almost don't care anymore, so...
Yeah, it's like, I'm at the point where there's no way in hell I'm going to buy a console just for Nintendo games. I like Nintendo games. I would like to play Nintendo games, but you need to give me other stuff, too.
Yeah. Or else it's going to be a system that I wait until it's like $99.99 and then I can get all the games really cheap. But that'd be about it. But I already have a Wii U, so you got me already. I really just bought it for Zombie U. I was just like, oh.
Ubisoft. You screwed them. Making your good games. Damn Frenchies.
Moving on, let's talk about Microsoft's press conference.
Stop fucking yourselves.
Yeah, you need to start answering the questions that we need to know about. Like, we need answers to...
You've got a nice machine.
So much stuff.
You've got good hardware. The setup is good.
You even made the Kinect look appealing.
Yeah, you actually made the Kinect not a pile of shit now. It kind of sucks that you have to get one, but the way it's built in and everything, I guess that makes sense. But still, it's everything else that you're doing.
It's your policies.
Yeah.
Like, drop them already. Like, I don't see what your excuse is. You keep saying it's for the future. It's like,
yeah,
the future what? Oh.
Yeah, the used game thing, like, you need to sweeten the pot. You need to lower the prices to go along with that, or you need to make it that you can't resell games during a launch window for the games, or something that would actually make it not seem like really restrictive for no reason and being like, fuck you gamers, you want to sell a game on Kijiji? I don't think so.
Yeah. That's completely anti-consumer. So you need to smarten your fucking ass up. Like, I want to get all the consoles. Like, I like playing everything. But you're making it very difficult for me because
Quantum Break looks crazy. You know? I like Dead Rising.
And I enjoyed Halo 4, and I'm looking forward to the next Halo game. I want to play that. But I'm not going to buy your system if I have to be connected and connect every 24 hours. And it's like, and you keep kind of sweeping this to the side. It's like, what happens at the end of this coming generation when you stop support for your system and move on to the next one?
We've kind of seen what happens when that happens. You know, they just stop supporting stuff. It just goes away.
Yeah, so is this going to be some sort of like 6 or 7 year $60 rental? Is that what these games are going to be? Like, you got to answer that question because I'm not buying that stuff.
You know, sometimes it's fun to go back and play, you know, a NES game. You want to go back to old games now and then. And, like, if your system is a horrible pile of shit that after it's gone, no one can play any of the games that were released from it, you know, there's eventually going to be an emulator and people can pirate them. And if that's the only way that people can play your games, what is wrong with you?
Like, the 24-hour check thing is just ridiculous.
It's just straight up DRM. I really want to see what CD Projekt Red's going to do about Witcher being on that system. Like I know that they're saying that, you know, things like they're all built-in DRM, like some of it, like, you know, well, we're not going to, like, you can sell our stuff, but third parties might make us you cannot cancel used games. I wonder if third parties can go in the other way and make stuff more open than Microsoft's normal policies if they want.
Yeah.
Because CD Projekt Red...
they don't like it, DRM.
one of the first announcements, like pretty much like the day after they announced Witcher 3, is also no DRM. Like, did we even have to say that? Come on, we're CD Projekt Red. There's no DRM in there.
So yeah, I mean, they had a decent showing of games, I guess, at their press conference.
Yeah, a lot of people say they really won. They brought games better than Sony. I don't think they did. I mean, a lot of it is because I don't know why, really. Like, the exclusives are about even. Sony has way more system exclusives that like would be on PC and stuff, but won't be on the Xbox. While Xbox has a few more straight up exclusives that will only be on the Xbox. But overall, it's pretty even. I mean, a lot of what they showed is not in any way exclusive.
And when Microsoft said this is the indie machine,
we're the go-to place. We support those indie developers.
Like, there's even indie developers out there that are saying that
like,
they're
fuck Microsoft.
Yeah, like the guys that are behind, or the guy that's behind DayZ said that like he really likes the self-publishing and like the fact that you can upload updates for free.
He can afford to make because I mean, I've played that game. It gets updated quite frequently. The way it exists, like if Microsoft is gonna be every time it's like $10,000, $10,000. No, that's just no one can afford to do that.
Yeah,
why should they have to? Why are you doing that?
And it's not like you're gonna run out of money, Microsoft. What do you need? Like $10,000 is like a fucking penny to you. So just ease off.
But to like indie game that was developed by 1 or 2 or even like 4 people, $10,000 just to update. Especially, I mean, like look at Fez. Like they just wanted to fix their game and they literally could not afford to. And what are you like? You're like, nope, sorry, it's gonna be buggy. It's only gonna be buggy.
Because people aren't gonna buy the game if it's buggy. So you need to fix that. It's like we need functioning games. Yeah.
They want to fix it. They can't afford to.
And it's like for the PC version of Fez, there's already been like 4 updates or something like that, or 5 updates. I don't know. They just because Steam doesn't charge that. No one does. Just you.
Yeah, you wanna update your game so it works? That sounds like a plan. You should do that.
But anyway, and then the price point, $500. If you had maybe made it so that the Kinect didn't have to come with it, so that you could have a $400 and a $500 model bundle, then that would have been better for you.
I'm still assuming they're going to do the subsidizing with like cable or something.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about the subsidizing.
They haven't actually said anything. I don't know why they haven't said anything yet. It's coming out in only a few months.
They need to get on that because $100 less for PS4 that's actually overall spec-wise better than...
But it doesn't have the cloud. The cloud.
I don't give any fucks about the cloud.
Yeah, all that stuff about all the amazing things the cloud can do. It's like, you're not... Like, no one ever... Like, they literally just say that. They're like, oh, because of the cloud, we can do so much stuff. It's like, but what is it? Like, what... More details? No, you don't have any...
It's like it does some extra processing and stuff for you, I guess. But I don't...
I mean, Sony's got that too. They're going to have more as more of the Gaikai features roll out. But no, you don't see everyone going on about, oh man, that all that stuff, that cloud computing in there allows the PS3 to do all these amazing things. But with Sony, just like, oh my god, the cloud.
Anyway, Microsoft, I'm not going to buy the Xbox One until they, as I said, change the policies. So.
I don't know. As far as a straight-up press conference, it was better than last year's boring piece of shit. It's like, here's 20 minutes telling you how smart glass works.
Great.
And now EA's here to talk about sports. That was one nice thing. They did not have sports.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah, they did.
There's a whole thing this year on sports. They even brought the NFL into it. It's an official partner now.
I literally stopped watching, and like just left the tab running and like went and searched something else.
We don't care about sports.
Stop talking about it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a big group of people out there that were like jizzing in the pants over this, but I don't care. So
I noticed like from just watching like most of my sports stuff only comes from E3 because I never look into games I don't give two shits about otherwise. But every year they're like, this year the physics and the way the players move and everything, we've made it all, it's so real this time. They say that every year. Really? You're making these massive improvements every single year? Because I kind of think it's still just like a football or a hockey or a basketball or whatever game.
Just reskinned.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I think there's been, honestly, comparatively, like I think there's been less improvement between like the latest Madden and the original like 1994 or 5 or whatever on the Genesis or wherever Madden started than there is between like Doom and a modern FPS. They're just sports games. They're so similar. Why do you keep pumping them? Well, I know why you keep pumping them, because people keep buying them every year.
That's enough about Microsoft.
Yeah.
I'm done talking about them.
Sony!
Yeah, let's talk about Sony. Sony came out and, you know...
Jizzed all over everybody, and they loved it.
Yeah, Jack Tretton is the man.
Mm-hmm.
And basically all the execs from Sony are just
awesome.
They're great. And Alex, I don't know. Sony came off as more real in my in my opinion.
Sony's always willing to talk about if they have problems or if there's issues that people care about. They'll just straight up talk about them. Like when they got hacked, they just straight up talked about that happening. Well, there's all this controversy with the Xbox. What does Microsoft say about it? Nothing at all. And then they pretty much don't really do interviews. They like cut most of that off, and
yeah, they even cut the roundtable out. It's
yeah.
like, well, that's a thing. Like,
and yeah, so when it comes like people are interested, it's like, what about used games? Like, what about, is it always on? And Sony just like straight up is like, yes, used games, that's fine. Always on? No, not at all. Want to play offline? That's fine. And everyone's like, oh my god!
People were like clapping and cheering, and it's like one of the best reactions I've ever seen from a crowd.
At a press conference?
At a press conference. So it basically, Sony came out and played Hero.
Mm-hmm. And also showed off like 80,000 games.
Like, okay, the games were like their first party stuff that they had already shown off at the announce. They kind of made that shorter because they wanted to get on with the indie stuff and all the other stuff that they haven't shown yet.
So like 8 different indie games are all coming to the system,
including Octodad, which we mentioned already. So it's like,
and when they did show stuff, like when they did show Destiny or Watch Dogs, they'd be like, and by the way, you're getting bonus stuff if you get it on our system. Whereas Microsoft was just like, here's a game.
It's coming up for everything, but we just thought you'd show you this.
Which is nice if they don't mention it. I think kind of part of it was probably that if it's anything, it might be like timed exclusive bullshit or something from Microsoft, which everyone hates, I guess, other than people who get it for Xbox. But yeah, like, I mean, the way that, and also Sony, like, none of it was timed exclusive. It was like you get extra stuff, you get new items, you get an hour of extra story in Watch Dogs.
And yeah, Jack Trent was just eating this up. Like, you could just see the smirk on his face, and he's just like, just basically walked out on stage and bitch slaps Microsoft.
Yeah.
Just stabbing them over and over again.
And then afterwards, they twist the knife with that how to share video.
Yeah, the how to share video. Step 1, sharing a game. It like basically hands the guy a game. Thanks! It's just industry greed that's... It's like the video game industry has been surviving this long and making enough money, and someone just has to go and try to do this stuff to make more money. As far as DRM is concerned, I mean, just look at the launch of SimCity, like the new one. That was a
perfectly
fucking mess. And like, you can't rely on someone else's servers all the time to be up. Like, if they go down for maintenance and it just happens to be that time of day where you have to check in.
Like Diablo 3.
Yeah. Like, come on. Everyone's going to get their Xbox One and then have to log in and authenticate, and everyone that's buying it will be buying it at the same time and have the Diablo 3 effect.
What if Microsoft has a problem with their servers and you can't connect to their servers?
Yeah, that's what I was meaning.
Yeah. So then, because Microsoft's having a problem, you just can't play games until they fix it?
You get a $500
because
brick
servers never go down.
Also, stop recommending that people just keep their Xbox 360 or buy an Xbox 360 if you want to play offline, because you know what people are going to do? They're going to go buy a PS4.
Yeah.
Like, you want to play next-gen stuff? Nope, just go buy a 360. You got lots of games on there. Don't worry about next gen. Really? So Don Matrix said that to Jeff from Game Trailers. Gamers want to play on the next gen consoles. If you tell them to go fuck themselves and get a 360, they're gonna say fuck you and buy a PS4. And 2 execs have said that. I can't remember who the other one was. Get some good PR people and start like rebuilding your
and
reputation.
Here's the thing, like, if the always on was actually required in the way the system was designed, if like it literally cloud computed all your games so that you almost had like nothing, you only had like some save files and some basic runtime stuff on your system, then yes, it would have to be always on. This is literally its DRM.
Yeah. Anyway, we worked our way back kind of to that.
Yeah, we somehow got off of Sony.
But really, like, Sony just announced like all these games. They announced all the stuff that people wanted to hear,
all
and
this stuff, a great price point, everything.
$400 for a new system.
Everything about it seemed fantastic.
Yeah.
The one downside was that you need to be a Plus member for multiplayer.
But
Plus is cheaper than Xbox Gold, and it's awesome. And they give you Microsoft's now giving you free games with Xbox Gold.
You want Halo 3?
How about Assassin's Creed 2?
Yeah. You
nice
played that already.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a PS4 and you get Live, what do you get? Launch title Drive Club right away?
Yeah.
Who wants to play that? And you can play Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, and they announced some games that'll be out in the first little while as well.
Yep.
Like another free game each month, and then they have their instant game collection stuff as well that they'll be doing. So
yep. Once the Gaikai stuff's on, you'll get tons more games available.
And if they have the streaming service for playing old PS3 games and stuff like that as well, I believe that's part of Plus membership. I would assume that would be part of Plus membership. I don't think there's like multiple tiers of Plus. So.
And also, if you don't have Plus, if you never play multiplayer and don't care and just want to play like single player experiences, well, hey, you can still use Netflix and all the other streaming things. You just can't play game multiplayer.
That's fine.
So the service that gives you lots of free stuff and is cheaper and also gives you more stuff if you don't get it. And people are like, oh, gotta pay for that. $5 a month.
Must gotta break my bank.
That's like a really cheap sub.
Just don't go to Subway.
Can't anymore. I only went once a month, now I can't at all. Thanks, Sony. Thanks, Obama.
What? I think that about does it for our E3 thoughts. Let's just cut it off there. Definitely leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought. Even give us a list of your top 10 games or whatever. That'd be great to see. So yeah, leave a comment. If you liked the video, definitely hit the like button. Subscribe if you really liked us. And I guess we'll see you again next time.